This video is brought to you by OKCoin Crypto Exchange, where you can buy, sell, and trade your favorite cryptocurrencies, and you don't have to pay high fees. OKCoin has very low fees, lower than many of the other crypto exchanges in the market. You can also stake your cryptocurrencies and keep 100% of the rewards. There are no fees. Other exchanges charge fees. OKCoin allows you to keep 100% of the rewards. Sign up with OKCoin, link in the description. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Thinking Crypto channel, your home for crypto news and interviews. With me today is Romain Pellerin, who's the CTO at IOHK. Romain, it's great to have you.
Glad to be here with you today.
Well, I'm very excited to speak with you because I'm a fan of Cardano, and I know you guys are doing some great work, and I want to learn more, and many of my viewers and listeners also. But let's start with your background. Where are you from? Where did you grow up?
So I'm obviously French, but I grew up in an island called Réunion Island. It's about 1,000 kilometers east Madagascar island. So in the Indian Ocean, and I spent 18 years of my life there before settling in France mainland for my, university and college studies. And since 2016, I'm in the US. I went through Austin, Texas, Houston, Texas. Now I'm in California.
And how did you end up working at IOHK, and what did you do before that?
So I did a PhD in distributed computing. So I was interested in, and blockchain is a distributed system. So I actually was interested rapidly into blockchain technologies. The funny story is that my PI advisor for my thesis, after I defended it, told me, you should look at Bitcoin. And it was in 2010. And I told him, no, I prefer to actually focus on my startup, because I built several startups. And so I learned one thing, which is listen to your mentor, right? And I came back later to the blockchain domain in 2016, actually, when I was working as a CTO for a healthcare startup. I was designing and developing a WhatsApp for patients and doctors. And we were trying to record certificates of the communication between the doctor and his patients. So blockchain made totally sense when I tried to apply this to healthcare, and I saw another way of designing services, a more decentralized way, where you remove gatekeepers and intermediaries, and you create basically better systems, more efficient systems.
Now, what do you hold in your crypto portfolio? You mentioned Bitcoin. I'm assuming ADA, but what do you have in your crypto portfolio?
I'm not so much of an investor, so I have some little holding, but I'm not going to disclose this today. Okay. No, I'm way more interested by the way this technology is going to change the workflows between people, but across borders, across the classical frontiers of legacy systems. Not that I am against legacy systems. It's just it doesn't scale when the world tries to globalize itself. I went through so many hurdles being a French in the US, or being from Réunion Island in France, right? And I have many examples in, for example, my health record or my financial history. When I settled in the US, I was like a newborn, right? No credit score.
Can you give us an overview for those who are new to the market of IOHK? What's your mission and the relationship with Cardano as well as Ethereum Classic?
Okay, so Cardano is a project that Charles Hoskinson envisioned many years ago, and he built a company, IOHK, who develops Cardano system, and we went through many years of research, working with universities and research labs, with Agilowski leading them, to define a robust platform. So IOHK is actually pushing for a very formally verified, formally proven set of protocols that we implement to build a robust platform that is, you need robustness when you are going to support the financial system of tomorrow, right? So you need the things to be secure, error safe, basically, and so users can transact with security and peace of mind.
Now, so IOHK is the company, you're working on Cardano, and I thought I read, and I wanted to confirm, you're also working on Ethereum Classic. Are there other blockchains that you're also working on?
We have Cardano, Ethereum Classic teams. We also have a technology called Atala Prism that is blockchain agnostic. So Atala Prism is a decentralized identity and credential technology. So we have several projects and many more. We have Jormungandr, which is a Rust node that we implemented a voting system that we use for Catalyst. I'm not sure if you know that program. Decentralized funding for the ecosystems on Cardano. And we have several, we are a blockchain technology company, right? So we are working on several different technologies.
Got it. Let's talk about Cardano, and maybe you can give us a quick overview, because once again, there's a lot of new people into the asset class and understanding this technology. Give us an overview of Cardano. What makes it different from other proof of stake blockchains and other blockchains out there like Ethereum and so on and so forth?
So I touched it rapidly, but Cardano is very focused on robustness. So how you build and you design a technology for the long term. So we started at square one, which is fundamental research. Ouroboros is the first formally verified, formally proven proof of stake algorithm protocol. So we take care of designing things that are robust, secure, and verified, and then we implement the protocol. So we had several releases last year and this year with Shelley, which introduced the stake pool, the staking business, the stake pool operation, and recently Alonzo with smart contract language Plutus. So Cardano is what we call the third generation blockchain, considering Bitcoin was the first generation, right, focused on moving value, across cross-border, I would say, between people in a decentralized manner. Then there was the second generation with Ethereum bringing smart contract, as programmability was lacking in Bitcoin to for example, describe contracts between people or decentralized finance, etc. And so Cardano is a third generation blockchain designed for scalability, for governance, and focused on the robustness of the system, which is very specific to our approach.
Now, you mentioned the Alonzo hard fork and the ability for smart contracts to be enabled. Is that fully live and what are the capabilities for maybe the users how can they leverage this smart contract technology?
Okay, so Plutus is our equivalent to if you want to take an analogy in the Ethereum world, the equivalent of the EVM, right? It's an interpreter. So it's a language that was also verified and is secure to use. And then you have several tools around Plutus to actually develop that help the developers to develop in Plutus interpreter. And so we have several tools like Marlowe language, which is what we call a DSL. So basically our approach is to have verticalized language per domain. So for example, for financial institutions, they are used to use technologies like Actus and standard like the Actus standard. And we provide a language that implements that standard. So we speak the same language as our future users, right? The financial institutions. So they don't have to learn a new language when they come to Cardano. So we have that approach with many DSLs that we are working with our partners and different industries. So it's fully functional. And there will be, and the users the market will see many new tools that we are launching, like the Plutus application backend that is coming up to simplify the development. Glow, another language that is focused on peer-to-peer transactions and how you can put a collateral by design in your application, which is very specific to decentralized applications. So yes, our approach is definitely DSLs.
Recently, and just maybe about a week and a half ago or 2 weeks, there were some big partnerships that were announced at the Cardano Summit, and it was with Dish, Boost Mobile. Can you tell us about how those partnerships came about and how Dish and Boost Mobile are going to use Cardano?
So it's one of the top, I would place that announcement as in the top 3 enterprise integration of blockchain technologies. I can think about PayPal. We heard about Tesla, right, with Bitcoin, and Dish is about 9 million users in the US telecom network. So Dish is using the decentralized identity technology that we have in order to issue credentials for their users. So millions of users potentially for Cardano.
Now, I don't know how much you can share there, but they're going to leverage the blockchain, the Cardano blockchain, to issue digital IDs. And is that something that where maybe you can explain what is that going to look like for the end user? Like, let's say I'm a Dish customer. Would I notice anything different, or is just Cardano's running in the background?
For the users, I hope that our industry can be completely, frictionless. So we should not notice that we have blockchain technologies involved behind the scene. But the purpose of blockchain is to give you your data, give you the user their identity back, and the control and the ownership on their data. So we can foresee integrations of, for example, you could associate your profile and keep the data with you and be the only signatory of giving access to your data. So basically it's giving back the ownership to the users of their data.
Got it. And it sounds like the same thing. I know Boost Mobile is under Dish, so it's the same integration across both.
There will be differences, and we are working on several work streams that I can't detail here. but it's beyond decentralized identity.
Now, there was also a note of Cardano partnering with Chainlink. Can you tell us a bit about that partnership?
Yes, two aspects. One is oracles, because when you design a decentralized application, you need to consume data from the outside world, right? Because the blockchain is a little world, let's say a network, and you need to consume data that are coming from other networks, right? So you need entities that are going to provide data on the chain itself, so you can consume it from a smart contract, from your smart contract. So, for example, DEX to find the price between USD and ADA, for example. These are data that are controlled or provided outside the system that you need to bring on chain so you can consume it. So Chainlink is the expert in oracles, and they also have a bridge technology to create bridges across different networks. Right.
Wow. That's exciting to hear of all these partnerships and the things that are being built on Cardano. Are there any other partnerships that are in the works? And I know you probably can't give names, but should we expect to hear of more partnerships and things in the remainder of 2021? And anything you can drop a hint on as far as the industry or anything like that?
Our commercial team is very active, so there will be definitely a growing ecosystem, and we'll bring partners in a monthly basis, very often. There are two other partnerships that are interesting to discuss. I think the Ministry of Education of Ethiopia, for example, was the first government to integrate decentralized identities and credentials to manage students' identity, diplomas, certificates, and, as well as professors and schools. So in Ethiopia, students can have the proof that they digital proof of being graduating for a particular diploma, and move to another country and actually have that proof without having a paper that no one will transfer, difficult to track. So I think this is a major deal, one of the first one with governments. So I really am looking forward to see the results of this integration. And there was also this announcement by World Mobile, a telco company in Africa to provide coverage in zone and areas where there's no 5G coverage. So bringing the internet close to the people so we can connect people and they can be included in this network.
Wow, that is so exciting. And just the use case, as you mentioned, with the Ethiopian government and the ability to verify or show your certificates. And it sounds like, a lot of the countries in Africa there's a lot of opportunity there where, a blockchain like Cardano can bring so many benefits and help a lot of people. So I'm assuming you're looking at other countries in Africa that you can expand to, maybe outside of just Ethiopia. Some other countries may want to do the same thing.
Yes. Why Africa? Because it's a developing economy, right? And they are modernizing their infrastructure rapidly. So in some countries still being based on paper, or they are moving directly to the latest technologies like 5G, blockchains, and so it's a great ecosystem. It's a great place in the world to develop blockchain because we have a chance to design the new systems, taking blockchain in account at first, right? And so that gives us way more flexibility in terms of design than trying to adapt a legacy system that is already digitalized through cloud solution, etc., which is a different type of exercise, right? Integrating an existing system or designing a new system, right? And developing countries always have some sort of dependencies with the USD or with the euro or with major countries, and I think they are looking at solutions to build a network with their partners on the African continent, right? And that blockchain definitely help designing those systems because it's a network of countries, a network of citizens, a network of businesses, and so it's a logical technology for them to look after.
Yeah, absolutely. There just seems to be a plethora of opportunities there. So let's talk about DeFi apps coming to Cardano. Any that you could potentially highlight, or any that is top of mind for you?
There are many DeFi projects. I will try to avoid promoting one particular project because some are, will benefit from it. But if you go to the Catalyst program, you'll see how many applicants we have for building infrastructure and apps on Cardano. And you have landing pools, you have DEXs, you have new wallets coming and offering services. You have many use cases, and we have already more than 3,000 developers of Plutus applications and more than 300 different projects who have been funded through Catalyst and actually delivering solutions. So it's a very emerging but very active ecosystem.
Yeah, I saw the list, and well, the amount of activity. People are very interested to get and start building on Cardano. We talked about the Alonzo hard fork upgrade. Are there any other upgrades that you guys are currently working on that's maybe planned for rollout in 2021 or 2022 that you can share?
We are so the Alonzo era was Gauguin era with Alonzo inside and Mary were dedicated to programmability, new sort of assets. So you have native assets, you have NFT on Cardano since February 2021. The next steps and the next era are Basho and Voltaire. So Basho is about scalability. So how do you actually scale the mainnet through state channels or through side chains, through rollups, and how the node can improve in terms of performance, so we can scale and have a UTXO graph that scale with the usage of the platform, with the use of the platform. And we have Voltaire. Voltaire is governance focused. So Catalyst is one of the components of Voltaire. Catalyst is looking at how you can fund a decentralized ecosystem for Cardano with funding projects that are going to bring value to Cardano, to the ecosystem. So users, communities who have stakeholders, people who own ADA can vote on the projects they want to see being developed. At the end, you have a tally, basically selecting based on the fund, the amount of funds that are for one particular iteration. So the latest iteration was about $4 million price grants for projects. It's a lot of money, right? And the Cardano treasury is accruing in value at every block. So every blocks, epochs, there's an automatic deposit of a certain amount of ADA in the treasury. And that treasury is used by Voltaire to fund the ecosystem. The treasury today is near $1 billion of funds. So it's a huge opportunity for new companies to actually look at Catalyst, try to present their project, convince the community that this is an interesting project, and get funded for bootstrapping the implementation of it.
Are there any misconceptions about Cardano that you would like to address? Look, in the crypto market, everybody's throwing stones at each other. I'm sure the Ethereum people are not, happy about Cardano's progress and growth. Are there any of these things that you want to address that's out there in the market?
Yes, that first, I think our industry should be more collaborative than combative. That's something I'm deeply involved in. I contributed to launch the UTXO Alliance. People, ecosystems, blockchain technologies that are using the UTXO model. I'm not sure if you know the UTXO, but it's a model that is derived from Bitcoin, and Cardano has a model that is derived from the graph management of Bitcoin. You can see the transaction as a tree, basically, of transactions where the branch is the past and the leaves are the actual transaction that you can consume to pay someone, for example, or to transfer funds. While in Ethereum, it's an account model, which is a bit like a bank. Like you have only one value, which is the amount of money you have in your account, right? But the history is not, like a graph of transactions. So you have to, in order to look up the past, you have to do a little bit more work than in the UTXO model, where if you have your part of the graph, you can validate everything. While in Ethereum, you need the world state. You need everyone to have calculated all accounts in order to move to the next step. So we built an alliance to look at the specificities of our model, the UTXO, and improve with others, right? Scalability, interoperability, programmability of that model. Plutus, or smart contract language, for example, is one of the first language for the UTXO model. It's not an equivalent to Solidity. It's very much a programming language that is designed for our model, right? So we aren't replicating what others are doing. We are actually innovating here on a system that resembles Bitcoin in terms of transaction management, right? We are very different in terms of algorithm. We aren't a proof of work chain. We are a proof of stake chain, but we have the same design as Bitcoin for the transaction management. And we actually built this alliance with the Ergo Foundation, with Topple Protocol, with Nervos, which is another blockchain using UTXO, and recently Komodo. So, and we are welcoming anyone who wants actually to contribute with us to improve our system globally. Because I think by nature, if you want blockchain to be that trust layer of the internet tomorrow, you need to connect networks. You need to collaborate. So users from Cardano can talk to Nervos users, who can talk to Ergo users, and you can send that assets. You can go consume a feature there and come back to your preferred ecosystem if you like, etc., etc. So tomorrow is definitely going to be built on top of collaboration more than that constant fight we can see on social networks. And I think the social networks are actually giving not not the reality on this. I think there's a lot of social engineering and bashing that is a bit organized.
Yeah, absolutely. I've seen that different projects. Yeah, people get targeted, and there's like a campaign behind it, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if Ethereum is signing a contract with a big enterprise and an enterprise adopt Ethereum, or if a government adopts Bitcoin, it serves our industry. We are better all together, right? To convince the world to integrate our technologies and adopt that paradigm, shift of decentralization or enabling frictionless, basically, exchanges across countries between people.
Yeah. I wonder if you can tell us about, what's the vision, and maybe, as IOHK, what's the vision for Cardano over the next 3 to 5 years? And this might be a hard question to answer but from an adoption standpoint, what are you aiming towards? What's your vision?
Our vision is to go to 1 billion users. So that's an ambitious goal, right? Or what we consider users can be people, but also businesses or devices, right? So you can have a projection in the IoT, the Internet of Things, where you can connect devices that are providing services or data that you can consume. So 1 billion users, that's the overall goal for the next 5 years. As far from Cardano, we need to deliver Basho. So we have a prototype of Hydra, for example, which is our state channel technology. 3 protocols are actually in the work in Hydra. So, for example, what is a state channel? So if the two of us, we want to transact at high speed, high volume, because we are partners in business, like imagine 2 exchanges or 2 enterprises that are sending each other thousands of transactions per hour. You can connect and establish a state channel, transact at high speed, and then settle back on chain every 10 minutes or every day, every week, or whatever our schedule will require. Right. So state channels are really interesting to actually scale rapidly and avoid using the mainnet for everything, right? If we have a particular communication, the two of us, we don't need to flood the mainnet and take a bit of the bandwidth that is a shared resource, right? Because in a network, we are sharing resources. So Hydra is very interesting. We have sidechains that we want to provide Solidity support for Cardano developers, right? So in order to do that, since our model is a bit different, we don't have the account model, we are providing a sidechain where the users can develop in Solidity and provide services to the Cardano users. So Cardano go to the sidechain transparently. They will not see that move, but going to the sidechain to trigger a particular smart contract and then continue their activities on Cardano mainnet. So Basho, Voltaire will be definitely our menu in terms of innovation for the next years to come.
I want to switch gears and talk about Ethereum Classic just quickly. Is that blockchain, is that project still viable? Because some people have called it dead. It got hit with 50% attack and things like that. And what work are you guys doing there? And what's your vision for Ethereum Classic as well?
Yeah, so we came back to the Ethereum Classic community last year after the 51% attack, saying, okay, we want to contribute again and try to find solutions with the community for checkpointing the chain. For example, in order to avoid a 51% attack or react quickly to it, as well as a treasury system in order to fund the ecosystem, and having a bit like we have something like we have in Cardano, a treasury that accrues in value at every block, and then we can fund the developers, because the developers aren't paid, right? And they aren't miners. So those were our two ECIPs, and this is in open source, and you can go to GitHub, you'll see our proposal. And the community is still deliberating on it. So in the meantime, what we did is actually taking Mantis, or clients, and put it up to date. So we actually put a lot of open source effort in developing a new version of Mantis that supports the new version of Ethereum Classic. So that's ready. We have our wallet ready, etc. So it's something that people can use as a client.
Got it. Well, I'm hoping to see positive stuff come out for Ethereum Classic, because it's had a history of being attacked a lot, and it sounds like you guys have some plans to put, like you said, similar setup to Cardano with the treasury and so forth. So
we proposed solutions a little while ago, end of last year, and are still debating with the community for the implementation. That's always the process for a blockchain upgrade, is to have the buy-in of every developer, so every node actually supports those ECIPs and protocol improvements. So we are waiting for the community to deliberate on what we proposed.
Sure. Let's talk a bit about certain items in the crypto market, like El Salvador adopting Bitcoin. What are your thoughts on that? And do you see other countries doing the same?
Like I was saying, every good news to our ecosystem is a good news for us. So seeing governments like Ethiopia starting, integrating blockchain technologies is a great sign for our industry. In the case of El Salvador, I don't know exactly the details of their integration, but they will manage both, I think, USD and so they have a stablecoin that is called Chivo, I think, and Bitcoin. And I'm looking forward to see how they actually design their system, because I think the point of blockchain and decentralized system is to keep the system decentralized in some ways, right? And when you start integrating, the way you integrate it matters to me. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to what they will launch, and how the citizens will react to this. And I think it's an interesting experiment.
What are your thoughts on NFTs? You mentioned NFTs are now on Cardano. We've seen a big boom in the NFT market, and do you think this will continue to grow? Obviously, it's with artwork. It's going to go to videos. I think it looks like companies can use the NFT not for artwork, but for like certain documents and releases and things like that. What are your thoughts on the NFT market?
It's a very interesting use of blockchain to certify content. It's simpler to certify digital content than the real world object, for example. So I think we'll see a lot of innovation on that aspect, because it's difficult to actually prove and attach a certificate to a particular object. Also, there are aspects that you need to take in account, like intellectual property. If I give you the NFT about a particular artwork, I actually don't own the IP in some cases, because the IP is ruled by intellectual property laws in different countries, right? So how do you attach that, IP and make it compliant with the NFT, right? Because today it's a bit decorrelated. So I think in terms of law, in terms innovation in that field. It's a very, very interesting, I think, topic for new students, for example, to launch a career on this, because I think it will be a hard problem to crack. After, there's a lot of you know, it's growing so fast, the NFT industry, that it's amazing to see such an enthusiasm from the community. We are ourselves building a game. I'm not sure if you saw that, Crypto Bisons, based on NFTs to play with that concept of game collectible and see how it can enhance your experience, or you can actually reuse game collectibles across different games, right? They are living on chain. So if I have, for example, a bison that is an NFT in a particular game, we are building a musical game that we'll be disclosing more and more in the next months about. But my bison, who is, for example, a guitarist, could be also a character of another type of game, right? Let's say, imagine a role-playing game, and the same NFT, the same game collectible could be reused across games. So I think NFTs have a great potential in the gaming industry.
That's exciting to hear. You're building a game, and it's just also the whole growth of the metaverse, and including NFTs and blockchain.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing.
The revival of Second Life, the metaverse, to me. Do you remember Second Life?
Sims Life?
Second Life.
Oh yes, Second Life. Yes.
Yeah. The metaverse is kind of a revamp of that ideas where people can live or experience digitally things. Yes, gaming is close to my heart, because during my PhD I was actually looking at distributed systems in the context of games. We built some sort of Pokemon Go before 10 years before Nintendo in our research lab. So it's close to my heart, definitely, and I think it's a great use case, because you can map a game on blockchain concepts pretty closely. A user already has an account, right? It's a wallet. Users in multiplayer games interact. They are sending messages. Those are transactions, right? Usually you have a scenario rules. Those can be smart contracts. The smart contract can express rules between two players, or between you and a particular game collectible, for example, etc., etc. You have it matches well to actually go beyond, the decentralized finance use case, etc. We can project new type of experience for other industries, including entertainment. Sorry.
I wanted to ask you about central bank digital currencies, and yes, what are your thoughts on that? And for example, different governments are using different blockchains. Like, for example, the Marshall Islands are using Algorand. Could potentially a central bank build on Cardano, a CBDC, if they wanted to? And of course, your overall thoughts on CBDCs.
Okay, so CBDCs are a network between banks and payments operators. So it's very close to the central bank. It's in the name, right? It's a bit different than a stablecoin, for example. So in terms of network, it's about connecting banks, commercial banks. It's about connecting other payment providers, and defining digital currency that they can trade, right? Mint, and that is very specific. Usually, CBDCs implement some sort of permissioned network, but you have also permissionless approaches. I'm really interested in looking at CBDCs in the in the context of African countries, because they are trying to synchronize their financial systems. And CBDC is one of the great tools they can use to actually define that common financial operating system. And the way it would connect to Cardano or other public mainnets would be through stable coins, I think. The fact that the token can leave their network to live on another network for a short while and come back afterwards after a certain period of time. But CBDCs are very much for the participants of that particular network, and banks and payments operators. The users don't touch directly usually the CBDC itself.
Got it. So I want to wrap it up here with some quick rapid fire questions for you, such as, what's your favorite food?
All food. I'm a foodie. So there are some hidden gems in the US also. Houston, for example, was a great place to be for a while, because you have international food and you can, eat every Ethiopian food or Indian food, like French food, etc. Chicago has some great places. New York also. So food is definitely my thing. For sure.
Favorite musician or band?
I listened a lot to Crosby, Still, Nash & Young, but that's a very all-time music band from the 60s, 70s. Now I'm more in modern music and trying to understand where is the music headed, right?
Sure. Favorite movie?
Movie are so many good ones. Pulp Fiction was amazing.
Perfection?
Pulp Fiction?
Oh, Pulp Fiction. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a great movie. Yeah.
Yeah, that was very, very, very good. I enjoyed Matrix also. It was very key. I was a teenager at that time, and I think that's the only movie I went 3 times to the theater to look at, because technologically it was amazing, like the way they were filming the scenes. And
well, are you excited to see the new Matrix movie coming out? The Matrix.
I'm really scared about it. I hope it will be good, because
yeah. Hopefully it's good. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that. Favorite book?
La Nuit des Temps of Barjavel. So it's a French book, a bit sci-fi, but really interesting. So it's called the Night of Time, the literal translation. I really enjoyed also The Lion from Joseph Kessel when I was young. It's a story in Africa with
very cool.
Young girl who fell in love with a lion or something. It was a very interesting book. Very, very sad also.
Oh, I have to look those books up. And when you're not working at IOHK, what are you doing for fun as a hobby?
I love hiking. I come from an island, so Reunion Island has a lot of mountains. It looks like a bit like Hawaii, Kauai, for example. And so hiking is something I enjoy doing with my family and friends.
Awesome. Well, Romain, great chatting with you. Thank you so much for joining us today. And I'm excited to see the new partnerships and things that are upcoming for Cardano. So keep up the great work, and we'll love to have you back on as things progress as well.
Yeah, with pleasure. It was a pleasure to discuss with you today. Nice to meet you.